Welcome to the Data4God interview series. Today we have the pleasure of being able to talk to Madison Kelley. So Madison currently serves as a Salesforce Data Analyst at Atlanta Mission, Atlanta's largest and longest running provider of services to homeless men, women, and children. After interning at several local and international nonprofits during college and earning her bachelor's in international affairs from Georgia Institute of Technology, ACC, in 2018, Madison entered the nonprofit sector full-time at Atlanta Mission, initially in a fundraising role. However, she quickly realized that she was more interested in analyzing fundraising data than directly raising funds, and pivoted to her current role as a Salesforce Data Analyst. She is passionate about working with her team to help Atlanta Mission continue to use data to better steward their resources, improve donor experience, and transform through Christ the lives of those facing homelessness. Madison, thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Yeah, so happy to be talking with you.
Oh, definitely. And again, thank you guys for what you guys do at Atlanta Missions.
Yeah,
So
it's truly a blessing to be able to do it. So
that's great. That is great. And we'll be able to hear about that a little bit here today. So let the audience get to know you a little bit more, Madison. Obviously, you have a passion for nonprofits. What led you down this path?
yeah, so it was kind of an unconventional way to get there. In going into college, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was going to a primarily engineering school, but not for engineering. So wouldn't really think you'd go to an engineering school and then end up working in nonprofits, but ended up deciding to study international affairs, and I knew that I wanted to find some sort of concrete way to do that and didn't really know what that looked like. But the more I learned, the more I realized that I could work for, a nonprofit or a non-governmental organization or, something within international development, and focus more on fundraising or program evaluation, some sort of more data-focused, metric-focused field. So just kind of started looking for nonprofit internships, kind of fell into a fundraising internship, ended up doing the rest of my internships in fundraising with nonprofits in the Atlanta area and a couple local chapters of international nonprofits like the International Rescue Committee and UNICEF, and wound up at Atlanta Mission, my first job out of college, and have been here for 2.5 years now.
That is awesome. That's an amazing story to hear. So that got you to Atlanta Mission. For those who may not know, and I gave a little bit of a background in your introduction, but tell us a little bit more. What does Atlanta Mission do?
Yeah, so like you said, our mission is to transform through Christ the lives of those facing homelessness. And on an overarching level, our goal is to be a community with our donors and our volunteers and our staff united to end homelessness one person at a time. And ministering not only to the clients that we serve, but also to our volunteers and our partners. And so that those that serve and those that we serve will come to know Christ and walk with Christ and live for Christ. So it's kind of a really holistic for everybody that's involved in it, but obviously the main focus is for our homeless clients. So we've been around in Atlanta since 1938, started out as a soup kitchen, and now have a multitude of services on currently 3 campuses in the Atlanta area. So we currently have a men's overnight shelter in downtown Atlanta, as well as a women's overnight shelter.
Wow.
And then a men's addiction recovery center about an hour northeast of Atlanta. And we're also working on building another low barrier overnight shelter for women and children that will also have a space for day services. So for people who either don't want a overnight bed with us or have somewhere else to stay and they just need a shower, a meal, want to go to some classes, some medical care, they'll be able to come to that shelter as well, which should hopefully open up at the end of this year.
Wow, that is amazing. And I mean, let's be honest, it's so needed, especially right now during a pandemic. That is an amazing thing to be able to hear what you guys do. And it's so cool to see how you guys have sort of started off small and grown to be able to help as many people as you do. That is an awesome thing.
Yeah. So on a normal basis, we're serving 1,000 people a day,
Wow.
In the range of a couple thousand unique individuals throughout a year. So yeah.
That's perfect. That is perfect. So what do you do in your role then as a Salesforce Data Analyst at Atlanta Mission? How do you help in that mission?
So I kind of have a unique hybrid role as a Salesforce Data Analyst. I'm both working in Salesforce as a Salesforce admin for
Mm-hmm.
specifically for our development and fundraising
Mm-hmm.
Salesforce environment, as well as a data analyst, largely
Mm-hmm.
also for the fundraising, sometimes also for the services, which is
Mm-hmm.
what, the part that works with our clients. So on the Salesforce end, I'm working on building out automations
Mm-hmm.
to kind of help Salesforce run more smoothly and make things easier for our users.
Yes.
Um, kind of maintaining data quality, doing uploads, kind of the back end stuff,
Mm-hmm.
building out dashboards, all of that. And then on the data analyst side, doing the majority of the reporting, doing some ad hoc analysis of different donor data. Basically, the end goal being to inform our users, our leadership, the people that are raising funds, those who are in charge of volunteering and partnerships, and also equip them to be able to enter this data that's so valuable for us about our donors and about what funds that we're raising, so that they can better do their jobs and better understand those that we're working with.
That's perfect. I do envision, data analyst roles basically as servant roles. Like it's our job to serve the clients that we have, and a lot of times those clients are the decision makers, much like you described. So tell me, at Atlanta Missions, how do you sort of sell, for lack of a better way of putting it, your results to those decision makers?
So thankfully, one of the really cool things about Atlanta Mission that's not common in other nonprofits is that a lot of our leadership actually worked in the corporate world
Oh,
and
nice.
decided to leave their jobs and come work for us, for a nonprofit. So they really understand the value of data and of what our team is doing, especially on our fundraising side. So they're really willing to invest in it and kind of want to see those results. The harder thing is for our client services staff to understand, because they're putting out fires all day. They're working with clients and they're serving clients. So the last thing they really want to do is put data into a system.
Yes.
The leadership is a little more interested because they can see the value of knowing this information about clients and being able to see the trends over time. So the way that I like to sell it is by making things pretty and making things easy to understand.
Yes.
Because if somebody can see the end result of the data that they're putting in, they're going to be more likely to, okay, let me take this 15 minutes to log these notes about a client or to log these notes about a donor that I met with, and see the value that what they're doing can add to the data.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're right. I think it's seeing that final value at the end really helps drive and push people towards appreciating the things that data can actually do. Now, But let's be honest, data can provide challenges sometimes. And it sounds a little bit like you were describing some of them there. I know, at least in my career, I've noticed really this relationship between more data tending to lead to more problems. So tell me about some of the data challenges you have in your role, but just also at Atlanta Mission.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing is data quality, especially when we've got so much data. In our fundraising database alone, we've got about 300,000 donor records.
Oh, wow. That's awesome, though.
Yeah. Over 2 million donation records in there. So it's a lot of data, especially for a nonprofit. So just making sure that data is accurate, that data is clean, making sure what we put in is clean. I'll be the first to admit, especially when I was learning this job, I uploaded some messy data into the system, had to go back and clean it. It's complicated because you want everything to be accurate.
Yeah. And now you see the other side of that, because now you're the one who's feeling the burden of the data going in that's not so clean.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then on the other side of that is because we have so much data, making sure that we're not hitting data and processing limits, and making sure that the automations that we built are built in a streamlined manner to kind of not clog up the system and cause a lot of errors and cause people to not be able to do their jobs. And especially the data quality on the client side. This is people's lives that we're working with, and we want to make sure that we understand them and are recording things accurately, so that if they need something or if they leave and they come back to us, we know what's going on, and can better serve them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let's pivot away from the challenges. Let's sort of get to the end of this interview on a happy note. Tell me a little bit about a success story that you guys have had at Atlanta Mission through your use of data.
Yeah. So I don't know that there's like necessarily one big success story that we have, but just kind of more small success stories and
Sure.
how using data has really helped us to improve the efficiency of what we're doing, be cost effective, and
Yes.
just give us better insights into what we're doing. So we used to not be centralized on Salesforce. We used to use another platform, and our volunteer system was, pen and paper, and then it was Excel spreadsheets.
Oh, yeah.
And so we've slowly kind of gotten things centralized, especially on the volunteer partnership side. We've recently gotten an integration of a volunteer database with Salesforce. So now we can see what volunteers are also donors, because we've seen that the people who have a heart connection and have worked with our clients and understand what they're going through are likely to give more of their monetary treasure, are likely to feel more connected to the mission. So having that connection has been huge. When we moved our client database onto Salesforce, they had the time that it took for them to do intake was cut by 62%.
Oh, wow.
Ended up saving basically a day's worth of data intake. For the fundraising side, in centralizing our platforms, we ended up seeing a digital donation increase of about 26% year over year.
Oh, so that's perfect.
Just kind of helping us, see what we're doing better,
Yeah.
track what we're doing better. And it also just enables our teams to see, hey, like this year we're up a good percent because people have been so generous. And it's encouraging for the teams to see that. So, allowing both to communicate that out to our donors and our team, as well as having so much data on, our donors and our clients, it helps us to segment our donors especially better, understand the different kinds of donors that we have so that we can market to them better, and help them really connect with the mission in a way that's unique to them.
See, that's awesome. See, like you said, it's that notion of impact, right? And if you can show people the impact that they do, much like what you're describing, they're going to want to give into it even more. So that's awesome. And I think, especially in the world of nonprofits, it's something that stewarding resources well is something that we as data analysts can help so much with. So I absolutely love that notion of what you're talking about, right? If we can help people be better stewards, we can take the money that is provided, which, let's be honest, all nonprofits realize that there's a struggle at times to be able to raise funds. That's why there are fundraisers, right? And so with that being the case, you can take those dollars and stretch them further because of the efficiencies that we can create. So that is an amazing thing to hear. Again, that's the kind of impact that I think, at least for me as a data analyst, I love to be able to see.
Right. Me too. That's what makes my job fun, is like
exactly
seeing these results and being able, like I said, to make it pretty and make it clear and understandable to our team to inform and equip them.
That's perfect. Awesome, Madison. So to finish off this interview, can you tell us some things that we can pray for Atlanta Missions about, as well as some things that you'd like us to pray about?
Yeah, so I think for Atlanta Mission as a whole, there's really two big things. So first of all, for our staff, especially our client services staff, they're really burned out over the last year. They kind of just got thrown into COVID and had to adapt on the fly to be able to take care of the people that we were serving. So having to deal with COVID cases and adapt to make sure everybody's safe. So they're really burned out and they're really weary. And so just for them, that they'd feel encouraged, that they'd find rest, and especially as we start to bring in more clients, so that we can serve more people, because unfortunately, because of the pandemic, there has been an increase in homelessness. So we're going to start seeing an increase of people who need our services.
Gotcha.
So for them as a whole, and also for, like I said, the new shelter that we are in the process of building is almost finished, and will be opening soon. Just for that's going to be a new adventure for us. For the end process of building it and making sure everything is in place, as well as hiring the right staff to work there. Just for everybody that's going to come in through the doors, we're going to be able to help people that we may not have been able to help before, and that they come and see the transformation that can happen through Christ, and be able to gain more self-sufficiency and get back on their feet, and so on and so forth. So
that's awesome. No, I will definitely add you to my prayer list. I'm sure our listeners will add you to theirs as well. Madison, thank you so much for joining me today. It has been an absolute pleasure talking to you, hearing some of the amazing things you guys are doing in Atlanta Mission. Keep up the good work. This reminds me so much of 1 John 3:17, that notion of, if you see a brother or sister in need and do nothing to help, how is the love of God within you? And this just shows how much you guys are doing there and how much the love of God is in you guys to be able to share that love with those in need around you. So thank you so much for all you guys do.
Thank you, Eric. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Definitely. All right, for everyone at home, thank you so much for joining us. Take care and God bless.